Alrighty guys, we're back for Teamer Dragons, and this is a Murders at Karlov Manor Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. This one's rockin' Sarkhan, Soul of Flame. This is a 3-mana 2/4 legendary creature rockin' Is It colors up there. Dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Nice. Now, whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Sarkhan become a copy of it until end of turn, except its name is Sarkhan, Soul of Flame, and it's a legendary in addition to its other types. That's a pretty solid ability, man, especially since our dragons are going to cost 1 less, too. We'll be able to get a nice chunky dragon onto the board, copy it with Sarkhan, swing in with Sarkhan. That just sounds really cool. This is going to have a huge target on his back, man. And we do have other ways to ramp into our top-end dragons here, which we'll go over in a second, like Jugan defends the temple, which eventually flips into a dragon spirit, and we also have a bit of a modified theme in here as well. So we have Invigorating Hot Springs to potentially give haste to those top-end dragons too. More ramp with Celestus and mana fixing, right, since it is a 3-color build. Technically a 4-color build, because one of our dragons does have that adventure side, expensive taste here, which will cost a black mana. Now, more ramp is Courier's Briefcase, opting for the Briefcase because of that bottom ability for a white, blue, black, red, and green. You can tap this, sack it, and then draw 3 cards, which I don't think would be unheard of in here, since we do have so many ways to generate treasure tokens, like off of the Decadent Dragon, or we can get treasure tokens off Bonehoard Dracosaur as well. Very powerful dinosaur dragon, huh? And then we also have Realm-Scorcher Hellkite with that bargain ability. You can sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token, and then when it enters, if it was bargained, you add 4 mana in any combination of colors. So that could be a great way to restock your hand off Briefcase. More often than not, though, you're going to be using this as ramp, right? Because there are insane lines of play, like a turn 2 Briefcase, turn 3 Sarkhan, and then right into one of your 6 mana dragons on turn 4. Copy it with the Sarkhan. Like, that just sounds wild to me, especially if it's like Realm-Scorcher Hellkite, which is also just coming in with haste anyways. Would you have that early removal, opting for the Invasion of Tarkir here? Speaking of lines of play, you go like turn 2 Invasion of Tarkir, turn 3 Sarkhan, right? And then a turn 4 a Bonehoard Dracosaur, since it cost 1 less with the Sarkhan. And then copy that Dracosaur with the Sarkhan, swing in the air for 5 at the invasion, flip the invasion into the Thundermaw. That's pretty wild, dude. We're going to have some serious lines of play, and there's a big reason we got all 4 Sarkhans in here. More ways to give our dragons haste with Bitter Reunion as well. Also, just being an enchantment could come in handy when it comes time for the Realm-Scorcher's Bargain if we want. So I have a brand new top-end dragon here. Incinerator of the Guilty is a 6-mana 6/6, rockin' flying and trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may collect evidence X, and when you do, Incinerator of the Guilty deals X damage to each creature and planeswalker that player controls, so potentially a one-sided board wipe. I don't know how good it's going to be without the haste, but hey, we do have tons of ways to give it haste in here, like the Bitter Reunion. And did I go over Hot Springs? Yeah, we got a little bit of a modified theme in here with Hot Springs and Jugan defends the temple as well. But we'll go over all of this in more depth at the end of the video, because we're going to save the in-depth deck tech for the end of the videos, at least for this week, to see how it goes. So we'll talk more about the synergies there, and we'll also potentially make changes to the build there as well before I upload it. So look forward to that. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and hop into some ranked. Yeah, we're going to go over the mana base at the end as well. So make sure you let me know in the comments how you've been liking this change. It's going to take me a hot second to actually get used to the change as well. So we'll go over the honorable mentions at the end too. Okay, guys, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game here. But in the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I don't know. I think it'll be decent. Like, I was going over those lines of play, and they do seem really powerful, huh? Okay, opponent goes first here. This could be a potentially slow hand. None of our 2-mana cards are on the draw. We see a dragon we wouldn't mind playing. This could be okay. Instead of Sarkhan on turn 3, I think it would be Jugan defends the temple. I don't know about this one. I think I'm going to keep it just to try it, right? Test the limits of the build. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and pause until the opponent shows up. Okay, opponent has arrived. What you bringing to the table, buddy? Yeah, since they're going first, we can anticipate aggro, but hopefully we'll be okay. Ooh, Thran Portal. Yeah, they don't plan the game to go on too long if they're rocking the Thran Portal, let me tell you what. That might be Boros. I think some of the Boros lists are running Thran Portal. Novice Inspector. Oh yeah, that's what we can anticipate here. Let's go ahead and get the Xander's Lounge down. Restless Vinestalk is not a terrific draw, as we definitely just want to see some of our 2-mana things. Probably keeping our reinforcements open if they pass. See what their plan is here. Both of their lands are dealing pain to their face, though, so I guess that's good news. Sarkhan also does block relatively okay against Boros, right? Being a 2/4. Go Inspector. Okay, and nothing else. Okay, more land. Restless Vinestalk comes in tapped regardless, and everything else will come out untapped, so I don't think we need to see any land for a few turns in a row at this point. Like, we don't mind seeing it, we just definitely need to be on the guard right now, so having nothing for the first couple turns is particularly bad. Now, this deck in particular will always have nothing on turn 1. That's the time to get the tap land down. Right into the War Leader's Call. Oh, Bitter Reunion. Now, we couldn't have even played that with the lands that we had anyways, so if we go Jugan, luckily Boros had some slow turns. Do we have no dragons for the Sarkhan? Just getting this to flip a little sooner sounds okay, but then not putting counters for the second phase. Yeah, I guess I'll go Sarkhan and see what happens to it. Being a 2/4, it's kind of like I said, it's not terrible against Boros. Narc Veteran, nice. Yeah, that'll gain some life back from the pain on the Thran portals and everything. Modane's Recruiter. Okay, that's a problem because that's going to be a 4/3. 3/3. They're going to keep the veteran back. Yeah, so we should keep Sarkhan around because it doesn't even trade into the Recruiter. Taking 7 here is not great. Definitely a really, really slow startup. So should we have mulliganed? Potentially. Okay. Restless Spire. Eee. That's not great. We're going to be doing just a 3-mana thing this turn anyways. But I'm pretty sure we just die next turn. So I guess it would be... Jugan defends the temple. And then Restless Spire, right? And then nothing. I'm pretty sure we're dead, guys. Very, very slow few turns. If we drew less land, there was no guarantee that we would have been able to escape our fate regardless. And with that... Oh, they're going to go searching for more creatures off the clues, too. Either way, they have the 4 getting through on their wide swing since the Epicure also dealt 1 when they played it. Yeah, they do have the lethal damage here, unfortunately. Good game, opponent. Well, let's see if game 2 brings us something a little faster, huh? If we had like a dragon to play, it still wouldn't have even helped, right? We just needed to be significantly faster there, or went first for an extra turn, and even then we would have been in some serious danger, as we know, with going up against Boros, right? So some of our early removal could have helped a little bit. Even then, guys, I don't know, man. I don't know. The list might be put together too slow to go second against that Boros list regardless, but we'll see, we'll see. I do believe that it'll put some serious pressure on. We should We should mulligan, right? Yeah, yeah. No green source for the Jugan. Very slow. We do go first. We won't be drawing. Yeah, we're gonna drop the mulligan. Okay. Now this is much more interesting to me. So I'm gonna keep the Bitter Reunion to make sure we have a chance to draw into more land. I want to keep the Sarkhan because I want that to do a thing today. And it hurts my feelings, but I'm going to send the Celestus. I think that's the weakest link in the hand right now. Yeah, a lot of tapped land so far in these first couple. Oh dear. Okay, well, we went first, so. Oh, there we go. Got a mountain. We go right into that Bitter Reunion. And it's probably going to be crap. Crap, guys. Actually, I don't know. The Restless Vinestalk? We do have a lot of land packed in. Okay, we got more. Okay, and we have the blue source on the Xanderzange, but we don't have a green source now that we sent the Restless Vinestalk. We don't necessarily need the green source for this hand, but with the Bitter Reunion, Invasion of Tarkir is probably going to have to come down like 2 turns in a row. I don't even think we're going to be able to set up the Sarkhan. They swing with Inspector. Must be like a reinforcements, right? Guys, we've been seeing a swarm of these Boros lists. I do think at this point we're going to have to start building around the Boros lists, right? Been seeing a lot of them. Instead, like, I guess generally speaking, we were preparing for super aggressive mono red for so long too, that kind of also works for these Boros lists in a way. Generator of the Guilty. Okay. Well, that's got to be a Resolute Reinforcement. If I set up with Sarkhan and we see an untapped source off the top, we do get that Bonehoard Dracosaur copy with the Sarkhan, which could be really good. But if we take the time to take something out with Invasion, no, it's probably just the Sarkhan. The nice thing about these Boros lists is they tend to not have too much removal. They're really just push and face, and so Sarkhan has a really good chance of survival. Sanguine Evangelist, very nice opponent. They don't have a great swing here. Okay. No land off the top, but another invasion just isn't terrible, is it? Let's go ahead and take out the Evangelist. They are going to get a bat here, but we don't want them to have that battle cry, right? I don't believe we want them to have that battle cry. The problem is, with those going in the air, it's going to be tough. Gotta keep the blocker. Yeah, Imodane's Recruiter or... Okay, good news, it's not. I guess they could drop a land and then go Imodane's Recruiter. Absolute Reinforcement's going super wide, man. Do they want to start swinging? They're gonna lose 1, but they're gonna get 4 through if they swing. I think they should. Not just with the bats. I think it would be a full swing. And they lose the Inspector, but any amount of extra pings to the face. Especially when they're this wide. I don't think I would worry too much about losing the Inspector. At this point, too... Okay, Warden of the Inner Sky is what they're going to go for. They're probably still going to swing in the air, though, right? Buffing that Warden up. Yeah, when the Defiant Thundermoth flips, that's going to be a great way to clean up a wide board state. They are going to swing. Okay, untapped source off the top would be sweet, but I don't know if that's unlikely or not. Like I said, we do have a lot of land packed in. Sarkhan! Oh no! We can take out the Warden and swing at the Invasion, but at any point, Boros could run away with this. It's going to be Invasion number 2. Show them my hand and take out the Warden. Yeah, Sarkhan could swing at one of the invasions, but I don't think that's worth it. I think we gotta keep the blocker back. And hope for a land off the top, right? Excuse me, guys. Now, it's worth noting, too. This does deal damage to any other target. So if they didn't have a blocker there, we would have had a great hit on one of these and then swing at it, and then we would have been able to flip it. But then even, I mean, at any point, if they buff this board state, huh? Look at how wide they're going. Like, even then, we'd still only have one blocker back, but at least it would be a dragon. Then we could start swinging with that stuff and potentially poking some of this wide board state, right? Okay, Knight Errant of Eos. A couple Emodane's Recruiters off of the Knight Errant. Guys, we are in super trouble. Even if we see the land now, the Bonehoard Dracosaur is, what did they swing with that we can block? Oh. Novice Inspector. Nice. I'll take that block. I didn't even see that guy over there. The opponent's so wide. Oh, no, guys. That's what I get for sending the Restless Vinestalk earlier, right? But if we sent the Dracosaur, we're losing a lot of the... Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. We do have the 5 damage for an invasion now, which means we do have the swing on the Sarkhan. So actually, not terrible here, as we get to go ahead and take out one of the other invasions and then copy with the Sarkhan. So we take that action, and then we could totally give haste to this and try to clean this out. Like, if we keep 2 blockers back, we're going to die to the Emodane's Recruiter swing anyways, right? Because they're like super wide here, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then Emodane's Recruiter comes down. So yeah, dude, Bitter Reunion. We're going for this swing. It's really good, actually. Full swing at the opponent's face. So it's actually 8 on the board and 8 from the Sarkhan, or from the Thundermaw damage too. So we have 16 damage going in, and they're at 19. So what we want to do instead is take away some of this damage on the board, right? Take away 4 of their things. Is a little bit better. But 16 damage to the face, that is super cool, huh? And we could take out the Knight Errant of Eos. Either way, Emodane's Recruiter is going to be dealing that extra damage. So I think it's better to actually just hit wide. Oh, I already clicked the Epicure anyways. That would have been a huge mistake if I would have clicked on Knight Errant there. Pretty sick stuff, actually, guys. For 3 mana, not half bad. Good game, opponent. That was actually close. Yeah, like if, I don't know, we missed 3 damage anywhere. I don't think we did. But technically, with 16 damage coming into the opponent's face that turn, if we didn't want to ping the opponent's creatures, of course, that was pretty sick stuff. I think we could have gotten a little more lucky, too. As far as the mana base goes, let me double check real quick, because that whole time I was like, oh yeah, we got a ton of land. We should be able to see that 4th even if we send it. 25. That is not as much as I thought I had in here. Okay, well, we definitely want to consider 26 then, especially after that one. But also, that's like a little bit of, that's kind of my fault too, because I sent that land thinking, oh, well, we'll have a great chance of actually drawing into more, so. All right, opponent, what you bring it to the table, buddy? Anything but Boros, so we want to showcase the deck, huh? Oh, no green source. Triple Bonehoard Dracosaur. Oh man, these hands have been rough, huh? We should mulligan. I think so. Okay, much better, but now all the land is slow land. So we don't have like turn 2 invasion if we, I mean. Oh no, okay, yeah, keep 6 and ditch the hot springs. Right, because we don't have a terrific setup here. Network Disruptor. Okay, let's get the red source down. In case we see an untapped source off the top that isn't red. That way we'll have the potential for an invasion of Tarkir. Moon Circuit Hacker. Okay, so mono blue tempo potentially. Eyeglass Siren, nice. Okay, untapped source that is red. So either one would have worked, but you know, you want to set up just in case. Go ahead and get Invasion down and take care of that Moon Circuit Hacker, huh? Go ahead and submit 0 here. Jugan comes down next turn, and hopefully they don't have any big swings, like turning this artifact into a 4/4 or whatever that one card does. That's actually pretty decent. Yeah, just one more ninjutsu. Okay, another Moon Circuit Hacker. Nice. Keeping their hand nice and stocked up there. Luckily, much slower damage than Boros, so I do think, especially with the hand we have right now, I do think we have a chance. Which is terrific news, man. Let's get that. Jugan defends the temple down. That gives us a little bit of ramp. Oh, unless they have like a Spell Pierce. Okay, there we go. They do have one island over there. That would have been soul crushing, man. Okay, next turn we just plug some counters onto the 1/1. They could have like Fading Hope too for the 1/1. They do, in fact. They get that scry. They send it to the bottom. So we won't get anything from 2, but Remnant of the Rising Star flips on 3, so that will help us block in the air at least. Unctus's Retrofitter. 2/3 with Toxic 1, and when it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power toughness 4/4, as long as Unctus's Retrofitter remains on the battlefield. Guys, we're gonna die. Oh no. Okay, we have to submit 0. Guys, do we really have to skip the dragon play again and go Invasion of Tarkir just to take care of that Retrofitter? One, two, three. We could flip the invasion. That doesn't help us too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we get Decadent Dragon down, my apologies, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. I am stuck between an artifact and a hard place, I suppose. So Decadent Dragon. A really tough decision, guys. Because if they bounce Decadent Dragon, we just die. They have 9 on the board. That's like the main thing here. So I suppose it's Invasion of Tarkir. Reveal one of the Realm-Scorchers for 3 damage onto the Retrofitter. Like, that saves us from the most amount of damage, but then also if they had Fading Hope number 2, they weren't about to win next turn, right? So it gives us an extra turn, a turn where Jugan can flip into Remnant of the Rising Star. Yep, that's something they want to keep on top, the glyph. The buff on the map token's pretty good here. Swinging for 4. Oh, swinging for 6. Holy cow, guys. All right, they get that draw too. Or it's more so, it's filtering actually with the Moon Circuit. They're going to ditch the high-speed hover bike, get the Spyglass Siren back down, and then the glyph can power up one of the treasures or map token next turn. We're just like... We're running for dear life in these matches, huh? We're having a rough time, dude. Okay, let's get Decadent Dragon down. That's pretty much all we can do. We got to decline this. Like, we could go Bitter Reunion, try to find, what, another Invasion of Tarkir, but that's just not gonna... That's not gonna do it, you know what I mean? So either way, they do get 4 through here. So we have the block here, and we drop them the GGs. And it doesn't really matter where we block. Like, Remnant of the Rising Star, I suppose the better block would be Prosperous Thief, maybe? Ooh, they still had the Moon Circuit Hacker in hand, too. If they needed to push a couple extra damage through. Well, guys, 3 losses in a row. Tough uphill battles, huh? We're running for dear life, and we're drawing very poorly, I would say, overall, too. So let's see, man. Let's see if maybe I can play it out a little bit better, too, right? I think the opening hands have been super detrimental to the build, too. You know, starting with 1 less card. We've had to mulligan. Wait, have we mulliganed every match? I don't know if we mulliganed the first game. Oh, no. Oh, no, guys. What's going on, man? I guess we got a mulligan. Yeah, in the final thoughts, when we're going over the deck list again, we'll have to discuss the decisions made over in the mana base, as right now the mana's not lining up at all, but I can't realistically tell if it's just bad luck or not. So when we go over the deck list at the end, we'll talk more about the mana base, and then you guys can let me know what we could potentially change for the mana base to make it more consistent. Or if you look at the mana base and say, hey, I think that should have been more consistent than what it was, then you definitely want to let me know that too. Because I think this is another mulligan, which is awful, guys, awful. Okay, no green source in hand. Bro, we can't go down to 5. Especially, like, the opponent's going first, man. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Actually, Invigorating Hot Springs, probably. Very tough business. Gonna be a Plains, nothing else. Okay, there we go. Look at us, guys. Easy peasy. Dreamroot Cascade. Okay. Something tells me when it comes time for Sarkhan, it's not going to survive. I think we're going to go Jugan defends the temple first then. Virtue of Loyalty. Wedding announcement. We are, in fact, in danger. For a second, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a slow output build. But no, if it's Orzhov tokens, we are in serious danger. Another Jugan. If we go Sarkhan, sure, it blocks well, but it instantly gets picked up by removal. If we go Jugan, only the token could get picked up by removal. Okay, we're going to go Jugan. Any untapped source off the top leads us right into Bonehoard Dracosaur too, so as much ramp as that's packed into the build, I'm like constantly sweating for mana with the build too, so we definitely have to talk about 26 lands as well. And with how much Boros we've been seeing, I suppose a couple board wipes wouldn't be terrible in here. I'm gonna go no blocks. Second wedding announcement is scary, but luckily they're not going wide, but restocking their hand is pretty bad. Commit the 1. On tap source, guys, look at us. We can get the Bonehoard down. Or we could go Celestus and go second Jugan. Actually, the same concept as with the Sarkhan. Up against Orzhov means a significant amount of spot removal. And so playing it a little different here, going Celestus into Jugan, just kind of getting set up with more ramp and more creatures on the board. We'll also be able to give both of these counters. First wedding announcement is about to flip. Aclazotes. Dude, we're in danger, bro. Oh, buddy. Incinerator of the Guilty. Okay, hold on. Let's go ahead and give these counters. Incinerator of the Guilty. You need stuff in the graveyard to collect evidence. And it also doesn't have haste, too. The perfect one to have in the graveyard would technically be Bonehoard Dracosaur. We get Sarkhan down. Still have double red. We can get the Bonehoard down successfully. Decline. Here we go. Here we go, guys. Now the deck is totally doing the thing that it's supposed to be doing. We could take the action just for fun, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't have haste. Did I decline it, or did they just not even bother to show it turning into the Bonehoard because it was passing right away? So Bonehoard's first strike is really good against Aklizotes. Being a 5/5, they won't gain the life or anything. Outside of that, any amount of removal, like if they go removal onto Bonehoard, they're going to double down. Oh, they're not. We are forced to discard a card. We want to keep Incinerator of the Guilty in hand, so Courier's Briefcase is going to be the discard. So, okay, hear me out. If we block with Bonehoard, like this, and then drop Incinerator of the Guilty next turn, copy it with Sarkhan, swing with Sarkhan, ditch the Bonehoard Dracosaur out of the grave with the Evidence, we'll do 5 damage to everything they own. Wedding Announcement's about to flip. We need to do 6 damage to everything they own to get rid of the Aklizotes. We can still do 2 to everything. Okay. 8, that's a lot. Losing the Sarkhan. Okay, we're gonna block. It would have been 14 damage going through to face if we didn't block. So we're down to 4 now. They're up to 27. Yeah, unfortunately, the Wedding Announcement getting the Aklizotes. Wait a minute, when you collect evidence, you can select multiple cards, can't you? Right? Decline and decline. I want Sarkhan to become a copy of Incinerator. I guess we'll play Xander's Lounge because mana isn't terrible to have on the board. Incinerator of the Guilty. This is gonna be sick, dude. I mean, hopefully we actually get to do the thing, though. Okay. Come on, Sarkhan. Survive long enough, buddy. Decline. Decline. Come on, Sarkhan. You got this, man. Take that action. All right. We're going for it, man. Full swing. Let's do this. Because, like, we're gonna die next turn. Like, let's be realistic. If we keep other blockers back, like, it just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? We're going for it. Come on. Come on. Dude, I'm on the edge of my seat right now. They have 4 cards in hand. It's got to be spot removal, right? Like, we're up against Orzhov. Bro. Is it gonna land? No. March of the Otherworldly Light. They do have a great block with the Vigilance as well. Okay, well, hey, GG opponent. If we, like I said, if we kept blockers back, we'd have 5 blockers. I don't think it matters, guys. I don't. I think we were about to die regardless. They also had Restless Fortress too. We don't want to forget about that. And if you keep the 5 blockers back and they still have all those cards in hand as well, they could easily remove some of those blockers and then full swing too, or remove the blockers that are in the air and then just swing with the Aklizotes too. So that's actually a perfect example as to why it didn't matter, and just getting that full swing. We needed that Incinerator's ability to actually hit. So yeah, when you collect evidence, so at first I was like, oh yeah, now we're only doing 5 damage with the Bonehoard Dracosaur. But no, you can totally, it says, collect evidence X, exile cards with total mana value X or greater from your graveyard. So we could have done 7 and then dealt 7 damage to each creature and planeswalker that they controlled. But yeah, we knew that the removal was coming down, and I guess at that point they were just deciding which removal, right? Like, it was taking them a while to actually play the march there. About 35 minutes in, guys, 4 losses in a row. We're going to push it. We're going to go one more. I think as far as testing a build goes, like, we're actually going to have a lot to change here, I think. I think we're going to want to go up to 26. I'm going to reevaluate the mana base here at the end of the video as well to make sure it's exactly how I wanted it to be balanced. Okay, yeah, we'll keep that. We don't need the blue source right now. Actually, a terrific hand. I don't mind this at all. Potentially ramping right into Bonehoard right on time. Human with Recruitment Officer. Sarkhan, huh? I'll get this down. Especially since we have a second one. If we see a blue source, Sarkhan. If we don't, we get Jugan. Thalia. Oh, my goodness. We actually got really lucky with the mana. So Invasion could take out the Thalia. So I guess, like, if we needed to do it that way, that's fine. But, like, getting Sarkhan down is much, much better, right? Because turn 4 Bonehoard Dracosaur. Like, that's what you want to see. Brutal Cathar, right on time. We'll go ahead and take that out with the Invasion, I would say. Or we could go Jugan for 4. Jugan defends the temple. Decadent Dragon is actually pretty good, too. We go Invasion, onto Cathar. We go Invasion onto Cathar, get Sarkhan back. What's the odds that they'll just have another Cathar for next turn and then we're out of removal? If we go this route instead... Actually... This is a really tough decision, man. What the heck? Okay, I'll go Jugan, defends the temple, because if we get a chance to keep our 1/1 around, we'll have 5 mana for the Bonehoard Dracosaur anyways. That's a tough decision. Adeline. Okay. Great swings here from the opponent. 5 getting through. I think I do want to keep that as ramp rather than trading it into or chumping. Sarkhan. All right. Fortunately, Jugan defends the temple. Like, we've been really struggling to keep things onto the board. Actually, Sarkhan... Yeah, too bad Thalia's taxing us, huh? Other words, that would have been pretty good too. Adeline blocks well here, so we don't have a great swing into the other Invasion either. Yeah, it doesn't really feel lined up right now. I think it's just Bonehoard Dracosaur for the turn. Brutal Cathar number 2. Which one do we want to take out with the Invasion? Wait, are we dead this turn? We are very, very close to dead this turn. We are at 1. Oh my goodness, guys. Okay, Jugan defends the temple, flips. With the tax on Thalia, maybe we should have taken out the Thalia earlier. 2. We go Bitter Reunion. Dude. Is there no way through right now? We could only do one thing this turn, guys. And I guess it would be Invasion onto... Let's see. Bringing Sarkhan back just makes the Decadent Dragon 3 mana as well. I suppose it would be this Cathar, get the Bonehoard back. And then at that point, we could take that one action... X is 1, since we can't do anything else for the turn. And then that's it. They just swing in. Easy peasy for the opponents today, huh, guys? The double Cathar, I mean, you have to anticipate it for sure. We do have some good blocks now, but it's a little too late, unfortunately. Good game, opponent. Oh, business, man. 5 losses in a row. super duper jank, but this gives us an opportunity to actually talk in depth about the build here at the end and potentially change things up too, just to kind of help it fit the meta a bit, which sounds pretty fun actually. Let's go over the deck list again, guys, and let's change it up as well, huh? For the first time ever on the channel, as far as I know. Now that we're doing the in-depth discussion at the end of the video, I feel like it's just a great excuse to go ahead and change up our experimental deck lists before actually posting them. And so the last couple videos, we did a similar thing, but I don't think that those last couple builds actually needed too much changed anyway, so we actually didn't change anything. This one in particular had a very hard time, so let's go over the mana base first. We do have a Cavern of Souls to help like our dragons not get countered when it comes time, as that's very important, man, especially when I'm running into Azura's Control, which is rocking the new No More Lies, where you have to pay a 3 extra mana, which is a lot of mana to have open. So Cavern of Souls, Call Dragon, that could make you very happy in some games. I think that'll totally work fine, even though we do have a lot of enchantments and stuff in here too. That's the main reason why we don't have more Cavern of Souls, right? Like because of Jugan, Invigorating Hot Springs, Bitter Reunion, Invasion, Courier's Briefcase. The entire top, or I should say front end here of the build, I thought was going to operate a lot more smoothly than what it did. Everything just felt like it wasn't lining up at all, though. That is likely how we're curving out, or how we're choosing to curve out. And so more 2-mana ramp could be effective, but more important is going to be that 26th mana, huh? We were really struggling. The opening hands, we had to mulligan in a lot of those games. All of the games? No, I don't think so. Wait. Guys, did we mulligan in all 5 games? I'm not 100% certain. When I go back and watch the video, I'll have to double check there. Okay, so we are opting for a lot of slow land, because when you're getting the slow land and you have no 1-drops in a build like this, it's totally fine to have them come down tapped, right? So here's all the slow land, and a lot of the restless land as well, all coming out tapped anyways. So those are like, okay, turn 1, we don't mind that these are coming out tapped, so we go ahead and get those out tapped then. If we look at the mana base here, we are heavily leaning red, and then we have a little bit of green, and then we're splashing the blue. And the splash of blue is for the Sarkhan. And so when we're splashing blue, we do have the green. Wait, how do I want to arrange this real quick to make it a little cleaner? So if we look here, the deck is majority green and red. So let's put our green and red here in the center. Like this. That's a Bonehoard Dracosaur. That is not a mountain. Well, I mean, some people might mistake it for a mountain, but then we have the splash of blue. What is happening right now? Okay, here we go. So we got the splash of blue. Okay. This is funny, dude. I'm making a huge mess of the mana base, but it'll totally make sense once I'm finished here, right? Okay. So we have the deck list where it's majority red and green, and then we're splashing blue. So there's our red and green in the mana base, and then we're splashing blue. So we have the splash of blue in the red sources and the splash of blue in the green sources as well. Also just like a couple extra Restless Vinestalks, because I do believe that the Restless Spire is much more janky than the Restless Vinestalks. So instead of double Restless Spire, we actually have the Xander's Lounge here too, which also acts as the black source for the adventure side on the Decadent Dragon, which is pretty cool, huh? So that's the thought process behind the mana base. And when you're looking at it like this, you're kind of thinking like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense, right? Like that should line up well enough. However, we definitely need to figure out that early game a little bit more. And so I think it would come down. So less tap land wouldn't be a bad thing. I think this Restless Ridgeline, we should probably trade out for some faster land. Oh, guys, also, in the honorable mentions, cards that I thought about for the list, Charming Scoundrel could have been great. Riveteer's Requisitioner has been doing a lot worse for me, especially since it has to die and we see a lot of etching. The Warmonger didn't make the cut this time. Arriva's because I didn't want it to be a 4-colored deck list, even though it can operate 4 colors fine, or at least I thought it would. Just not this time round, right? Tyrant of Cure Ridges almost made the top end, as well as Shivan Devastator being an awesome dragon. I think the big one that we want to consider for right now is actually trading the Charming Scoundrel in. What do you guys think? Hold on, I want to reset this real quick. Now that I laid out the land to explain what we ended up doing here, let's change this, dude. Let's do this. The game is lagging a little bit for me on my button clicks. If you guys can't tell, I am struggling to actually click the buttons and drag them along as well. So early or all the time, Karplusan Forest might end up doing a lot of damage to us. Getting a good amount of lag. Let's drop the Restless Ridgeline and get some anytime mana in the mana base, right? So a couple Karplusan Forests, for example. As far as the splash of blue goes, I do think that is enough for the splash, but I wouldn't mind going up that other Xander's Lounge too, making sure that we can get that adventure off on time. But I also wouldn't mind the 26 being a second Cavern of Souls as well. If we end up doing that, we might really struggle if we get 2 Cavern of Souls down early on. If we end up getting 2 Cavern of Souls down, yeah, that probably wouldn't end up working out, right? So here's what I want to do. I want to drop the Hot Springs down to 1 because that didn't do like anything today. And we want to go up Brotherhood's End, I would say, as our choice. I'm not sure why the game is lagging, but before I record the next video, I'm going to restart the game because it is being super laggy right now. Sorry about that, guys. So Brotherhood's End is going to do a lot against those Boros decks especially, but also just like in general, even against that Orzhov build, dude, the Brotherhood's End would have done so much. And now we are leaning even heavier into the red sources. Jugan defends the temple down to 2 is totally fine. I don't want to drop it completely because I still wanted that small modified theme in here, and I don't want to completely just rip the soul out of the deck, you know what I mean? I still want it to be what it came here to do, right? Yeah, Charming Scoundrel, I don't think it's going to make the cut. All 4 Invasion of Tarkirs need to stay in. I think we can drop the Bitter Reunion. We were really struggling with the whole concept of giving our top-end dragons haste as well. So we're going to drop a Bitter Reunion too. With the Brotherhood's End, and Celestus in the build as well, I think we're actually going to go up. This is probably going to be fine. And based on what we're seeing today, to torch the tower as a 1-of, and then 1 more mana. Let's double checking here. 25, almost 80% red. We have 70, 20, and 1. So we can go up a mountain or an additional red source, and I don't think we want it to be a tapped land. So we could go up. Yeah, I don't think we want it to be a tapped land, right? A mountain, I guess. Just like having it untapped, although never mind. I'm bringing that other Restless back. I didn't want it to be a tap land, but I do think there's going to be moments where like the opponent wipes the board and then you can power up like Restless Ridgeline or any of your Restless mana for that matter, and then swing in at like an Invasion of Tarkir. So we have more untapped land with the Karplusan Forest. We went down a Restless Ridgeline. We still have a couple Restless Vinestalks and a Restless Spire, which we could probably drop the Spire. Since I want less tapped lands, we could probably successfully go up again anytime blue or red. So let's go up a reef, right? This is tough. This is tough to think about because we had really, really tough battles. This is fun, though. You guys will have to let me know if you enjoy the thought process of changing this build up before posting it for you guys. Because this is definitely different for me, recording, like, actually revamping the deck or building a deck like this, right? So you guys will have to let me know if you enjoyed this down in the comments for sure. Other than that, I think this is looking a little better. I still want the 4 Sarkhan too. Again, I don't want to just rip the soul out of the deck. And the Sarkhan's so good. Once it's established and you get like the dragons going, like could you imagine if they didn't have removal in that Orzhov game for the Incinerator? Incinerator gets through because of Sarkhan, which is actually one of the main reasons why we didn't need the haste too often too. Since Sarkhan's already established, it doesn't need the haste when the other dragons come down. The big top-end dragons really struggled today, and I think a big part of that was just not having enough mana on the board. So going up to 26 is going to be huge for us. Making sure we have more untapped land is going to be huge, and then early board wipes, and then early removal with Torch the Tower as well. And the bargain should be relatively easy as it's sacrifice artifact, enchantment, or token. We have treasure generation, we do have enchantments in here just in case, and we also have tokens in here as well, like the Jugan defends the temple tokens, so... And artifacts like Celestus too. Although realistically, you don't want to bargain something so good away, but you never know if you're going to have to. So I actually really like how the deck list is looking. Guys, I think this looks much better. And realistically too, I believed in the deck before we revamped it. But now that we revamped it, I actually think this would be a little better. But when I put it up on Aether Hub, of course, I'm going to call it jank. So it's definitely going to be janky still, but I do think this is going to perform a little better. And hopefully we landed on something a little better in the mana base. Even though it looks like a mess, now you guys know the thought process behind it too. So guys, hey, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. Hi. Thank you for being here. Also, make sure you take a look at the description where we got the Discord link and the Patreon link if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. I will see y'all in the next video.